Hello, my name is Jeff Rolka. You can learn more about me at voicelessonssf.com. This is part 2 of a 3-part video series on the upper register of the male tenor range. Part 1 was awareness and access, learning about how the voice works through the register event. How do we get up there, how do we get back down, and just getting comfortable with that. This is part 2, preparation and practice. So knowing the range of your own voice and practicing ascending and descending through that register event. Part 3 is integration. Each of them contain exercises, so hopefully this will help you in your practice to get more proficient up through that register event and smoothing it out. So the exercises in part 2, this video on singing above the male register event, are focused on practicing this transition and smoothing it out. If you find that they're a little too challenging, you might go back to part 1 and practice those exercises a bit more. Alternately, if they're just too easy for you and you need something more, check out part 3. That's more about integration and just really working in this range of our voices. So, smoothing out the transition from so-called head voice, or above the break, to chest voice is one of airflow, coordination, and also understanding where this change is happening in your voice. And so every voice is slightly different, and although there are reliable areas where we can expect the transition to happen, it will be different for you than it is for me and for someone else watching the video. And so be sensitive to that as you practice this. If it's too high, wait till it gets a little bit more comfortable for you to start. If it ever gets too low, which I don't think it will, just let it go and then get back in on the next exercise or rewind that section and practice it again. And speaking of practice, this is a practice. The video is meant to facilitate exercises and the study of this range in your voice. So, without further ado, we're going to begin with the E vowel sung with the W each time, focusing on keeping that E going as we descend through that register event. So we're going to start here, singing down the scale. Wee, 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 wee. It's important to make sure you end in your chest voice. Wee, wee, wee. So you can sing that with me. Wee, wee, wee. And feel it below the break. Wee, 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 wee. And then land there. And next up we're going to do May. When you sing May, what I like to say is imagine you have a Nerf ball in your mouth. It's like kind of squishy, styrofoamy thing. It's not styrofoam, it's more like foam. And it's going to create a little bit of a roundness in the oral cavity, lifting the soft palate a little bit. May, 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 may. Again, singing through the M into that A vowel. May, 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 may. And then we're going to begin with a vowel transition A to A. And if you're finding that those are going well, you can start the ascending scales too. So you can sing wee, 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 wee. bears saying too, if any of these are proving moderately challenging, so you can kind of do them, but it's a little bit tricky, it pays to go through these exercises with the lip trill, just to keep your airflow moving. In fact, it wouldn't hurt to just do that right now anyways, so let's do that. Let's go. Feeling our voice start in the chest, go over the register event, and then come back down. And... And then, as we get more comfortable with that, we can continue to work different vowels. So, we could do you, 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 you. One more time. You, 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 you. And... I'd like to do that again, mostly because I think that with the oo vowel we very definitively feel, if you're making a good transition from above the register event down below it, I've heard it described before as like an hourglass, where above the register event it's nice and open, and then in the middle of it, the passaggio, everything narrows somewhat. It feels narrow, we have to be very precise with our technique, and then below it, when we're comfortably in our chest voices, it's nice and open again too. With that oo vowel, you can really feel it narrowing through that transition, through the passaggio. One more time. When those exercises are working well, we can, again, incorporate more ascending work into our vocalizations. And I'm also going to start us where we're beginning to sing a little bit further down in our range, and we're going to slowly go into the passaggio and above the register event, and then get a little bit higher still. So all of these things are meant to slowly take more and more advantage of what we've learned and slightly get the exercises more challenging, but not overly so that we lose control of our technique. If we begin here, then we can sing may ascending. May, 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 may. Let's try that. And if that's comfortable, then we can go to may and ah, alternating between the two. May ah, may ah, may ah, may ah, eh. And once the exercises in this video are comfortable, more or less, and you can reliably make your way through that register event, that transition from head to chest voice, or cricoarytenoid muscles to thyroarytenoid muscles, then you might want to check out part 3, which is more about integration, wider scale patterns, and some intervals as well. If this was a little bit too difficult, then perhaps check out part 1, which is more about being aware of how the voice works above the register event and how to access that. My name is Jeff Rolka. Thanks for watching. Take care of your voices and enjoy singing. See you around. Bye.